Hand-picked with care, the grapes are quickly moved from the vine to the crates, ready for the next phase.
Once harvested, the grapes are loaded onto tractors and transported immediately to the factory to begin the winemaking process.
At the peak of harvest, tons of freshly picked grapes arrive at the winery, ready for the winemaking process to begin.
Rest. At the sorting table, workers meticulously inspect the harvest, precisely removing any damaged grapes.
This is the grape intake system. Freshly harvested grapes arrive and move along conveyor belts towards the sorting and destemming equipment.
After harvesting, the grapes arrive at the factory and are immediately placed on a vibrating table to begin the sorting process.
The grapes are sent through these rollers, which gently crush the berries. This releases the juice, or must. Following destemming, the grapes are gently crushed, allowing the vibrant juice to separate from the skins and flow downwards for fermentation.
Following the destemming phase, the grapes are crushed. The resulting must, rich in color, begins to flow, initiating the fermentation process.
Following the crushing and destemming phase, the juice is rapidly transferred through these pipes, ensuring minimal exposure to oxygen.
Inside these stainless steel giants, fermentation begins as yeast converts the grape sugars into alcohol, releasing heat and CO2.
Here we begin the fermentation phase. The fresh grape must is pumped into the tanks, initiating the conversion of natural sugars into alcohol.
Inside these towering stainless steel tanks, the fermentation process begins as yeast converts the grape sugars into alcohol.
The fermentation process begins when the yeast is introduced to the grape must. The yeast converts the sugars into ethanol and carbon dioxide.
As the yeast converts the sugars into alcohol, a significant amount of carbon dioxide is produced. This gas must be vented continuously.
During the fermentation phase, we use these large automated mixers to punch down the cap, releasing heat and maintaining a healthy yeast environment.
As the must ferments, the released carbon dioxide pushes the grape skins to the surface, creating this thick, bubbling layer. This is where the magic happens. In these massive fermentation tanks, yeast converts the grape sugars into This vigorous swirling action indicates healthy fermentation, where the yeast is active, unlocking the deep colors and aromas of the wine. Here we measure the sugar content using a digital refractometer. This tells us how the fermentation process is progressing.
This is where grapes are turned into wine. Inside this powerful fermentation hall, synchronized machines manage the delicate transformation. This vapor is a byproduct of fermentation, where yeast converts the sugars into ethanol and carbon dioxide.
Workers carefully inspect the exterior of the tanks, regularly monitoring temperature and pressure during the critical fermentation phase.
The yeast converts the sugar into alcohol, and as the sugar runs out, the bubble activity slows significantly.
As the yeast consumes the sugar, the fermentation process begins to slow down. The wines
As fermentation stabilizes in these tanks, our team ensures the process finishes smoothly, preparing the wine for the next phase.
The aging process takes place deep within the cellar.
Here in the cellar, time works its magic. These particular barrels, holding the 87 and 90.
Here we see a worker gently rotating the oak barrel, an essential part of the aging process that helps the wine mature.
During aging, the deep red wine slowly permeates the oak barrels, softening the tannins and developing its character.
Maintaining a consistent cellar temperature and humidity is crucial for the wine's aging process, monitored closely by these systems.
The maturation phase is crucial. Here we draw a sample to check the color and aroma before the wine is ready for bottling.
The aging process enhances the wine's color and viscosity.
Swirling it gently reveals these characteristics.
We tilt the glass to analyze the color gradient, then a gentle swirl helps us observe the viscosity and how the wine is developing in the barrel.
This grand cellar holds the future of the vintage, as the wine slowly matures within the oak.
During the maturation phase, workers meticulously log data to track the wine's progress and ensure quality control.
In the aging phase, the wine rests quietly in oak barrels. Subtle vibrations show the maturation process occurring within the wood.
Within the quiet of the cellar, the aging process continues, slowly transforming the grapes into fine wine.
From the quiet maturation in oak, the wine transitions to the sterile environment of quality control.
The legs visible on the glass indicate the alcohol content and viscosity, key metrics during quality control testing.
Next, the bottles pass through a sensor array for liquid level inspection, guaranteeing consistency across the production run. High-speed inkjet markers apply precise date codes and batch numbers to each bottle, guaranteeing traceability.
Sums. The final visual inspection is crucial to ensure quality. The technically checks for sediment.
As the wine is bottled, the factory's automated line simultaneously forms the packaging cartons with mechanical precision.
The bottling phase is highly automated. Robotic arms precisely place the labeled bottles into cartons on the conveyor belt.
Once bottled and labeled, the wine cartons move rapidly down the conveyor belt, where they are automatically sealed with tape, ready for transport.
Once bottled and labeled, the cartons are stacked onto pallets and secured with a stretch wrap machine, ensuring they are protected during transport.
Here in the warehouse, the finished product is packaged and prepared for distribution around the world. Sealed and labeled, the bottles move rapidly along the line, ready for packaging and global distribution. This state-of-the-art facility manages the global distribution, organizing thousands of pallets for shipment worldwide.
Precision is key in the distribution phase. These barcodes ensure every bottle reaches its international destination, tracked meticulously from the factory floor. From the loading bay, trucks transport the finished product from the winery to markets around the world.
The final phase involves meticulous storage and global distribution, managed digitally to optimize the route from factory to table.
The final phase of wine production is global distribution. Advanced tracking ensures our vintage arrives fresh within 48 hours.
From here, the fleet departs, carrying the finished wine across the country and around the world.
Once bottled, the wine is quickly prepared for global distribution, often traveling by air freight to reach markets worldwide.
Once bottled, the wine is carefully loaded and begins its journey, distributed globally to reach consumers around the world.
Finally, the bottles arrive at stores worldwide, completing their transformation from grape to glass, ready for customers.